but I can hear you twice now.
What does that mean? Can you guys... No sounds, but I can hear... We hear him! Jamuel!
My mom is signed into my YouTube account again. Ima, get off of my YouTube account.
The traveling Clatt.
She's typing as taller.
That's amazing. All right, so...
Mom, get off.
So, after 20 minutes of this live stream, we finally got audio. Does it sound okay? How does that sound? Someone... All right. Anyway, they say it's working. What's up? We're starting all over again. So, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first ever Creators in Quarantine live stream. As you can tell, we're not very good at this. This is episode 1, so hopefully we... I like how Toleran just said, we can hear him.
That's not me, guys. That's an imposter in the chat.
So, like I was saying in the beginning, I've traveled a lot with Tal, and I've shared a bunch of videos, especially recently. Even yesterday, I shared, I think that'll be our last video together. So we might have to do another trip soon, Tal. But anyway, for anyone who's in here who may not be familiar with who you are, can you just briefly introduce yourself?
Yes, I'll do this for the third time. What's up, guys? My name is Tal. I also travel around the world making YouTube videos, just like Mr. Steege over here. And we traveled together for the first time around, getting close to 2 years now, I think. Yeah. Almost 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, across the United States. We hit it off, became boys, and we just done a bunch of trips around the world now together. Well, in Europe and Sri Lanka, maybe not around the whole world, but we have a good time goofing around. And if you guys have seen us, it's really cool to see in the chat. There's a lot of familiar faces here. Jeremy's here, Udara's here. I can see there's a lot of Sri Lankan names popping in and out of the chat. So I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me, Mr. Steve.
Dude, I'm so happy you can make it. Thanks for coming on down. So, where are you right now?
I'm in the Philippines, dude.
You're in the Philippines. So, can you tell me a little bit about why you're in the Philippines right now?
Well, I came here originally because I left Sri Lanka. I was supposed to go back home to the United States around the time that you went back home in December, and then ended up staying in Sri Lanka a little longer than intended, and ended up coming here to the Philippines as sort of stopover to go to some other places. My goal when I came here was to make a travel guide about the country, but that has been severely, delayed now because of everything that's going on. And I basically got stuck here in lockdown in a city called Cagayan de Oro. It's one of the biggest cities in the island of Mindanao. And I've just been hanging out here now, waiting for this to sort of blow over.
Yeah, what was your experience like when this whole craziness started going down with lockdowns and all that fun stuff?
So I was traveling through the most dangerous part of this island called Mindanao. It's am I still here?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. My headphones just disconnected for no reason.
Oh.
That's great. Wait, you're coming in. Can you speak real quick?
Yeah, can you hear me?
No? Okay, we're back on the headphones, I guess.
All right.
Okay, we're good. I was traveling through the most dangerous part of this island called the Autonomous Region of Muslim Mindanao when this was going down. And we were getting sort of updates on the news, and then all of a sudden, like, every town that we were traveling through would go on lockdown as we left. So we started, like, down here on the south of the island. As we were moving up, this town to lockdown. And then we go here, and the next town to lockdown. We move up another town to lockdown. And then we made it to, where did we make it to? This city called Cotabato City. And there was a case announced there, and we were actually in touch with the mayor because we were supposed to collaborate with them on a video. And she told me, bad time, you need to get out of here. It's not the right time to be here right now. Like, go somewhere else that you can, settle down for a little bit because it looks like we're going to be locked down for a while. So we took the fastest bus we could out, and we ended up getting stuck in a traffic jam just trying to get into this province that took us about 7 hours to clear. So we took a 14-hour bus ride, which was supposed to be a 6-hour bus ride. And we eventually made it to the city, to Cagayan de Oro, and the person I was traveling with, he left me the next morning went back home because he freaked out. I was traveling with a Filipino guy, and he ended up leaving because he wanted to go back to be with his family. So I've just been here alone, pretty much, in quarantine and self isolation.
Oh,
14-hour bus ride, which is supposed to be 6 months.
I'm just trying to. Dude, we're getting comments that there's an echo.
So we eventually made it to the city.
But can you guys hear? Is that okay now? I'm just watching on this.
I think the echo was there for 1 second when my headphones disconnected.
Okay. So, what? Can you tell me about your current living situation?
I got a nice place right now. I'm set up in a nice little apartment. I got myself a nice place.
Nice.
I'm blessed. I've been really, really blessed this entire experience. There's a lot of people who are going through hard times right now. I got no complaints on the living situation. There was one day where I was a little bit freaked out where I might have been on the street for just a couple nights, but everything ended up working out. So I managed to get a place, and I've been all good.
Cool. Happy to hear that. Happy to hear that. So if you, I know you have some interest in other places to go. If this were to clear up, say next week, where would you go? Any idea of what to do?
Yeah, well, my plan originally, I was supposed to go to Singapore, and then, I mean, we were supposed to hopefully meet up again in Indonesia. We were going to potentially go to Bali together and then maybe do some other parts of Indonesia. The Komodo Islands has been high on my list since the week that you and I made it to Sri Lanka. I was starting to plan, a visit out there. So that's like high up on the list right now. But now I've been sort of taking a back seat. I've been realizing that I think this is going to last a lot longer than what everybody thinks it might be. And I might be out here in the Philippines easily till August or September. So I'm thinking maybe to go to Japan around fall time because I really love that country and I want to sort of clear my brain from everything and just hang out in Japan for a little bit and then start traveling the continuation of Southeast Asia that I wanted to see and then head back to the States maybe around winter time, maybe springtime.
Interesting. Yeah, it's such a weird time right now because we just don't know when this is gonna clear up or when travel is going to be accepted, and if I wonder if there's just gonna be like a date where like okay, travel is open now. I don't really think that's gonna happen. I think it's gonna be like a slow transition of people feeling more comfortable. I think we're probably gonna be like the first wave of travelers, like people who actually physically move places because this is what we do. So as soon as we kind of get some approval from governments and travel organizations and airlines, I mean, I'm looking to get out of here. But I don't know. It's just I don't know how this is gonna play out, and I think that's why a lot of people have a lot of anxiety or fear, just because there's no certainty with this. So weird.
It's interesting because you and I got to travel in Sri Lanka. I mean, you even more so than I did, got to travel in Sri Lanka immediately after something happened there that pretty much cleared tourism out of the country. But even for me, when I was there with you, we still got to see the lasting effects of how the tourism was. Like a lot of places were just devoid of tourists, especially the north of the country. So it's sort of interesting to think that the world, for a short while, most likely while we're going to be out on the road, is going to be just like what we experienced in Sri Lanka, just devoid of tourists. Like,
Yeah.
think about it, like Machu Picchu, the Great Wall of China, the Eiffel Tower. These places are probably going to be, if not devoid of tourists, very, very low tourist numbers. So it'd be a really interesting climate and environment to be, traveling back out there too.
That's a good point. That's really interesting. I didn't even think of that. Because now all these places that typically are flooded with people are going to be empty. Like I wonder what Machu Picchu is like right now, where
It's probably empty. Like most places, like the Eiffel Tower is probably empty. Big
oh
Ben
yeah,
is probably empty. The Leaning Tower of Pisa. These are places that, thousands of people corral, but nobody wants to be in crowds now.
yeah,
And I think that sort of thing, we're entering a new world, in my opinion, like at least for the next few years. And I think the idea of being in big crowds with people, like festivals and raves and stuff like that, that's going to sort of take a back seat for a while. And it might make the world very interesting for people like you and I who travel for a living pretty much. Like just heading out to, like somebody just wrote in the chat, Egypt. Like, yeah, imagine the pyramids at Giza right now. Probably empty. Probably no one there. And it just, it'll make the world a very, very interesting place. moving forward.
Seriously. So
Sort of like resets tourism to when our parents were younger.
it's really funny because I was just editing a video from us being together, like during our last few days in Sri Lanka, and we were walking through Galle, which, if anyone's not familiar with Sri Lanka, is a very popular city or popular old port in the south. And you and I were walking around, and we were talking on camera about how, like, the situation this time last year, there was a terrorist attack in Sri Lanka. It was almost exactly a year ago, and that devastated the tourism industry. Obviously, like, people just stopped traveling to Sri Lanka, and things started picking up slowly. And we were making a note about how we noticed tourism was picking up again, and it's nice to see, the effects of that and how people are actually coming back, and it's safe. And then again, boom, another hit. So it's crazy to see Sri Lanka specifically getting hit by this twice. Like, they were hit by an isolated incident that only affected their country, but now this whole tourist block affects every country, every tourism board, everyone, everywhere. So it's crazy. It's so crazy, man.
It is crazy. It feels like, from one perspective, a lot of the work that we did, like, to give you guys some insight, a lot of what me and Steve were doing when we were in Sri Lanka was working with companies, working with small hotels, with hostels, with tourism boards, safari companies, trying to sort of promote tourism to these areas, because we saw hands-on the effects of what happened there. Like, we saw it hands-on. We saw how people they told us our stories, how their incomes were gone. Entire hotels, like beautiful resorts, devoid of tourists, nobody there, just empty. And it was really interesting. I'd never experienced a country that just had its tourism go like that overnight and it's gone. And we were working very hard to sort of try to help in that department. And it feels now like, all of that is being reset again. And it's really, I mean, from a certain perspective, it's very sad. From another perspective, you see the pictures of, like, the climate improving and nature sort of retaking the place, even after such a short amount of time that people are leaving. But I mean, it hurts to think about the people, especially the people that we've met, that we know that have been affected by all this stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that, and we've talked about this in private before, like, I think this is a time now for people like you and I to use our voice to help people, to figure out a way to, step up to the plate now when people could use our help, and, promote tourism when things start going back to normal.
When back to normal. Ugh, so crazy. Anyway, aside from coronavirus talk, I want to know more about you. Well, I think I know a little bit about you, but I would love for you to kind of explain a little bit, just a little bit more about yourself, and why, maybe taking it back as to how things started with picking up a camera, and why making videos. What made you decide, I want to post a video on YouTube? Do you remember the first time you posted a video on YouTube?
Yeah, and by the way, Gus is in the chat. So what's up, Gus? Gus hosted me and Steve
Oh,
in San Diego when we were on a road trip together.
that was a good time.
Um, yeah, when I was in high school, um, I had started watching some travel YouTubers like Fun for Louie and Mr. Ben Brown. They were pretty much like the biggest people in the travel genre at the time. They sort of originated the whole idea of travel vlogging. And I was very inspired by, like, the fact that you could just travel, and the concept of just being able to buy a plane ticket and go somewhere. I, like, my 17, 16-year-old brain just didn't, like, comprehend that until I saw the videos. It's like, oh, you don't have to have your parents. You just buy a ticket and you go. Like, you can just go to a new place. Like, you just go.
Yeah.
And I remember being so fascinated, so infatuated by that. And so I always kept it, like, the deeper I went into my high school, the more I was like, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. And I had been posting on YouTube since YouTube was out. I was on YouTube since 2006 when it first came out, but it was always just like little videos of my webcam, like little videos from a phone, just like little fun little things that I would shoot with my friends. Um, but I remember when I was chatting with my friend in school, in high school, I was telling him how I wanted to travel potentially after high school, after college, and he told me, he's like, you should document it on YouTube. We would all want to see it because I was filming stuff on a GoPro just between my friends in high school, and he had convinced me actually once I decided around April. I had like a month left of school in 2014. I decided that I was going to try to go to Africa, and he told me, he's like, you have to film this. You have to put it on YouTube. You have to make a YouTube channel about it. Like, make a video explaining your journey. Show people what it's like for a 17-year-old to go to Africa. And my friend, he was a lot more mature than the rest of us in school. He was sort of like the dad that we all looked up to. You know, he was super mature, and he would always sort of watch over everybody and teach us a lot of stuff. So he told me, like, this is something you have to do. So I was like, okay, it'd be interesting to put it out. I remember specifically a day after high school, like one of the days when we came back home to my house, we were laughing and we were like, it'd be so funny if one day the channel would hit 100,000 subscribers. Like, it was such a non-feasible idea for the two of us. We're so like, it's never happened. It's gonna be just for fun, for friends. And then I dropped this first video about me going to Africa. Super, super nervous. It's like a minute-long video of just me straight face. Like, I just shaved my head 2 days earlier, so I look super awkward too. I just shaved my head, not my face. Imagine if I shaved my eyebrows.
I shaved all of my hair off. I was so nervous.
I shaved my head. I looked like a potato, and I'm just sitting there like a hoodie, like super nervous in my house. Like, hey guys, I'm going to Africa. This is what I'm gonna do. I mean, way less expressive than even what I'm doing now. Just petrified of being on camera because I was always a person who wanted to be behind the camera. And I dropped the video, and it got 0 views. And I shared it with everybody I knew on Facebook, like all of my friends. And I had a lot of friends reach out like, this takes a lot of confidence to do. Like, this is cool that you're documenting it. We're going to watch. And it all started from friends and family and sort of slowly built into what it is today.
It's really cool, man. So what was that trip like when you went to Africa? Like, I've never even been to Africa. I don't even know what that's like.
I mean, it was... My mom's in the chat. She knows how much I loved it. It was everything I ever wanted in my life. Like, for me, I grew up watching like Steve Irwin, the Crocodile Hunter.
Yeah.
And watching like BBC Earth. Like, that's what I watched instead of watching like, Dragon Ball Z or Cartoon Network. Even though I did dabble in that stuff, but what I would, if you would catch me on the TV as a kid, it would be like wide-eyed, open looking at animals on TV.
Yeah.
And Steve knows firsthand how much I love animals. Like, he's seen it traveling with me. And so for me, going to Africa was like, it blew my mind that this place actually existed. And beyond that, it was just, I got to hang out with people who were way older than me. At the time I was 17, I was hanging out with people that were like 25, 30, who were seasoned travelers. This wasn't their first trip. They're telling me about hostels. They were telling me about, what it's like to drink, to go to parties, to do this, to that. It's stuff that I was never really exposed to yet. I was used to my high school class. And it was just mind-blowing. It changed my perspective on everything. It made me do what I'm doing today. It made me drop everything. I was like, I'm not going to college. I'm pursuing this. This is what I want to do.
That's crazy. It's really cool to hear that perspective of that, and that age too. Most people don't ever travel, and for someone to travel like that at that young age, it's pretty cool. We have a question here from Lauren. Where in Africa did you visit?
Lauren, okay. I visited Zambia, Botswana, South Africa, and Zimbabwe for like 20 seconds. But I counted. I got to walk into Zimbabwe and then leave immediately. I also flew over Zimbabwe technically in a little motorcycle thingy, a thing called a microlight. So it was really cool. Like, being able to see the borders of the two countries on this river.
And then when you return...
So, shout out to Marley in Homosassa, Florida.
Where we got that? Oh.
That's from Nicole and Jeremy.
Nicole and Jeremy asked, shout out to my daughter Marley. Hey Marley, hope you're enjoying... I'm also in Florida right now. I'm currently in Orlando. I don't know where Homosassa. That sounds like...
Look that up. I actually have no idea where that is, and I know Florida really well.
Homosassa. So it sounds like an African... It sounds like someone from The Lion King. Mufasa.
Homosassa.
Did you visit... All right.
I see it.
How do you pronounce that word? Look at that recent comment from Todd.
Seychelles. I saw you say that the other day
Seychelles,
on your live stream. Seychelles, yeah.
off the
Oh,
coast
okay.
of
I
Africa.
see where it is. Next to it's next to the Crystal River. I've actually been over there. I've swum in that Crystal River before.
Oh, Crystal River. Look at you, Mr. Crystal
I'm
Boy.
from Tampa.
Oh.
Me, Crystal boy.
So we got some questions rolling in right now. I think I know the answer to this, but where's your favorite place in Sri Lanka?
You go first because you already know my answer. It's less interesting.
So I think I know your answer. Well, I recently shared the top 10 places to travel after quarantine. And it's I got a lot of I got a lot of comments from people in Sri Lanka who are pretty upset because they weren't number one. But um, my favorite place in Sri Lanka, I think there's more places I haven't even been to yet that might even be my favorite before I get there. But just driving through the mountains is incredible. Like, it doesn't even matter where you are specifically, but anywhere in the mountainous region of Sri Lanka is so cool. And I love the fact that you can be at the beach and then in 2 hours you can be in a completely different landscape in the mountainous environment. And I love the diversity of it. That's why I love traveling around Sri Lanka so much, because there's so much to offer and there's something for everyone. Like, if you like sitting on the beach, you could do that. If you love, snorkeling, scuba diving, you could do that. But if you love hiking and going to the mountains, you could also do that. You can go camping. You can go on safari, seeing elephants. And I think that leads me to where I believe your favorite place is, which is
Yes, sir. It's Udawalawe.
Udawalawe. That's what I
Dude,
thought.
that part of your video, if you guys have not seen Steve's new video, I completely forgot about this. He had the funniest moment with the safari truck driver, or with the tour guide, the ranger, that's what it was. Oh my god, that clip
Nigel.
is so funny. This meeting has been upgraded by the host and now includes unlimited minutes. Thanks, Steve.
Whoop, whoop. I got unlimited minutes on this call. Damn, 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 damn.
But yeah, my favorite place in all of Sri Lanka is definitely Udawalawe. I ended up visiting like 4 or 5 times during my 3-month stay there, and I just fell in love with that place. Like, it's just, for me, it's Jurassic Park. It's there's this one road that cuts through this reservoir, and on either side of you is like just one giant lake and mountains, like the mountain roads that Steve is talking about. You can see them in the distance, and then like on the other side, just like this dip valley where you can sometimes see elephants. Like, the first time me and Steve drove there together, we saw elephants in the river, like swimming on these little islands. Like, it was so freaking cool.
Yeah.
That's my impression of that place.
Jurassic Park.
And we came in like a stormy day, like it was a little rainy. There was a little bit of lightning in the background. It was amazing.
That was cool. Good times, my friend.
Yeah.
Good times. Yeah,
Good
that
times.
that video that I just shared yesterday was just pure goofiness, because it was us. It was the first time we were together after filming the Tuk Tuk tournament documentary. And don't get me wrong, the Tuk Tuk tournament was amazing. It was so much fun, but it was very intense. Like, we didn't have much, like, we were pretty serious about filming and making sure we were getting the right shots, because this was a job for us to make sure that we were filming for a documentary. So it was, we were on our game. We were pretty strict with what we were filming, doing, moving, planning, all that good stuff. But then when we met up together in Udawalawe, that was our first time after the tournament where we didn't have to take things as seriously, and we were just having fun. And you could really tell we just let loose in that video. We were just so silly. It was just pure silliness.
We told each other too before, we were like, we're just like, let's not take anything too seriously right now. Let's just enjoy each other's company, because we only have like a few more days together left. We didn't know when we would travel again together, however long it would be. I mean, now it seems like it's going to be forever. It's going to be such a long time, but we just sort of agreed that it would be like just a fun time. Like, it was like almost Stephen Tall taking a vacation while traveling somewhere in the country that we've been in the last 3 months. It was super cool.
Hold on, sorry. I'm trying to readjust this screen because Just have
I
an issue.
see it. It's like bouncing around everywhere,
I
right?
know. I'm
It's so funny.
trying to fix it. Sorry, guys. Again, this is my first time doing this, so I don't even know what the heck I'm doing. I'm using this external software, this other program, so I can have like the live stream chat in this. So in case anyone watches this later, they can still see the chat. Oh boy! But now it's like
Oh, barnacles.
it's lagging and stuff. Damn, dude. So bring it back
Right.
to some of our travels together. Anything that sticks out as some special memories or some fun times around Europe or
Yeah, man.
Sri Lanka.
I think a lot about like Sri Lanka is it was such a good part of it. We've been talking about it a lot. We've been reminiscing a lot, but I keep thinking back to the stuff we did in Europe, like especially Eastern Europe, and it sort of goes by the wayside because we were moving so fast through that part of the world, and you guys haven't seen pretty much any of those videos yet. Like a lot of especially when we made it into the Balkan region, neither Steve or I have released many of those videos. But just I mean, like remember Kosovo? Remember how random like everything in that country was, and just like it was such an intense experience in Macedonia. Like we have some crazy stories. Just like remember our couch surfing host in Macedonia?
That was
Like
funny.
he grew up next to me in Florida, like,
Yeah.
right next to me.
When you
He was
walked
like,
in, he like said the name of your town, and you were like, "Wait, what?"
what? Like it's such a crazy time, and all that stuff went so like just by the wayside. I keep forgetting about it because we did everything in like 3 4 days. Like we walked around Macedonia. Steve and I, the capital city of Macedonia,
Skopje?
Skopje, has like 1,000 statues built in the city, and I always forget that we did this. Like we actually did this. We walked around the city one day, like just did the whole city on foot and just counted all the statues that we saw. Like the most ridiculous video. It's so ridiculous. And it's stuff that none of you guys have seen yet, and me and Steve don't really talk about so much because it happened so quickly. It was just like boom, 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 boom. We were jumping from place to place.
Yeah,
So I really think that part of our travels together was so cool.
yeah. We had
It
a
was such
good.
an experience.
It was so fast too at that point because we started in Spain, then we went to Portugal, and then we quickly moved all the way to Poland over the course of 2 days, from like the most western point in the continental Europe, I believe, which is Portugal. We were in Porto, and we tried to make it to Poland, which was a crazy journey. We ended up stopping in Barcelona to see a football or soccer match, and then we went to stay in southern France for a day with Matt. And then we went to stay with Mimi in Switzerland for a day. Oh, I got. Is that you, the traveling Clatt? Steve, you did a great job. 50 pesos, yeah.
I super chat Steve for putting on this live stream.
What'd you
Let's
say?
see some super chats. Some super chats going here, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies
Yeah,
and
do you
gentlemen.
remember the football game, the football match? Like that's even something I don't think about too often. But like that's so cool. Me and Steve went to our first football match ever, and like got almost front row seats.
That was
Almost front row seats.
Cray cray. We pretty much sat. Yeah, we sat in the 5th row. Crazy experiences. Let's answer some questions in this chat right now.
For sure.
I'm gonna swim up a little bit. Happy New Year from Sri Lanka. People are saying New Year in Sri Lanka. What is the New Year called in Sri Lanka? What's the name of that celebration? Does anybody know? Comment, please. I would love to know.
Happy New Year, Machan.
Exploring with Adi, you guys have inspired me to traveling around Asia and make a YouTube channel to documenting my 4 to 5 months around South Asia. That's incredible. Do you guys have any tips to do when I'm traveling, hopefully next year? Just if you have 4 to 5 months to travel, I mean, the way I travel is not very planned out usually. And I would recommend having some flexibility. You know, if you have 4 to 5 months, that's a lot of time. So just plan some places where you want to go, but be open to be flexible and change your course, and just have a good time. Be open to meet people, introduce yourself to as many people as possible, especially if you're staying in hostels. It's a great way to meet other travelers, and just simply the best question to start a conversation, hey, where are you from? And then boom, you're in a conversation, and just take it from there. and I'm sure you'll meet so many people and have a good time. You have any tips, Tal?
Have a good time. Yeah, I think definitely if you're having a YouTube channel and you're making videos out there, enjoy yourself. Don't take it too seriously. Like, don't put too much pressure on yourself. But think about how cool, having this time right now in this quarantine has given me such an appreciation for all the recording that I've done over the last few years. I've been able to just sit back and have all this free time to watch my videos and see myself grow up. So treat your YouTube channel, your videos as more of like a fun experience. Record yourself, like have a good time. Try to share the fun experiences that you're having so you can look back on it later on. And just like Steve said, just open yourself up to opportunities. Like the most fun that we have when we're traveling is when we do something random and spontaneous. So just be open to just random, spontaneous moments. And download couch surfing. Like Steve got me seriously into couch surfing when we traveled together for the first time, and it's a godsend of an app. Like that thing will make your travels ultimately 10 times better.
Seriously. I've had, especially when I first started traveling, I remember my first month of travel with my buddy Misha. We were couch surfing. By the way, if anyone's not familiar with couch surfing, it's a website, an app where you can connect with people who are willing to host you in their homes for free. So it's basically like a traveler's app. The reason people are willing to host you is typically because either they've used this before and they're willing to give back, or they're also travelers who can't travel right now. So by hosting someone, it kind of feels like they're traveling a little bit. It's like a community of travelers who are looking to help each other out. So I've had some really great experiences through couch surfing because it's so unique. You can't even pay for something like this. It's just connecting with like-minded people. And I remember my first month of travel, I couch surfed 21 out of 30 days. So, that's also a huge savings expense right there. Like I didn't pay for accommodation for a whole month, which was huge as a budget backpacker. But besides the monetary value of it, it's so much more valuable in terms of bonding and relationships. And you won't be able to get the type of experience, and not always, it depends on who you stay with, but typically when you stay with someone who lives in that area, they know a lot about what to do, or like secret places to explore, and what's the best place to get some good food, and they have a lot of that local insight that you won't find from reading a blog or whatever. So that's what I found, at least. Oh, we got a group travel question. What?
Best food ever eat in Sri Lanka?
What would you say?
Best food?
Best food you've eaten in Sri Lanka?
There's so many good ones. Man, that's actually a really hard choice, huh?
My favorites change. I remember, like right now, I would kill for some good kotu.
Oh man, I would say something similar, not kotu, but rotis. Just like any of the little short eats, the little triangles with
little
the vegetables.
Triangles stuffed with like egg and.
Man,
I
miss that stuff, dude.
I'll take diarrhea for a week for that.
Sri Lanka is so good. Such good food.
And very affordable too. It's just everywhere. Scary.
There was a group question?
Yeah. In all caps, they're yelling at us. Steve Tall. Steve/Tall. I want to travel with you guys. Any plan to do a group travel? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark.
Chico Zurdo. Hey, Chico Zurdo, ¿cómo estás?
Chico Zurdo. Ay, 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 papi.
Hola. ¿Qué tal, papi?
So we don't have any plans necessarily, but I would love to do a group trip. I've already had a few people, including Chico Zudo, who's, I believe, changed his name a couple times. I know the picture.
Is that the underwear guy? Is that the same guy?
I don't think so. Oh, what's NOK? Well, I don't even know what that currency is.
Norwegian krones, dude.
Norwegian krones.
Norwegian krones, dude.
Thanks, Adi.
I'm giving a round of applause to Adi, right? I'm gonna play
Can you
Adi
clap it up for Adi?
quick.
So I'm gonna go back to Adi because I want to give her a little bit more tips. Adi, I love you. Ooh, Adi, thank you so much.
That's for Adi right there, baby.
That's for Adi. That's a custom song for Adi. Anyway, just another really quick tip for Adi. If you plan on filming, because I know you said, I think you mentioned, let me scroll back up to your comment. Da 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 da. It was a little far away ago. Where was it? I'm pretty sure she said she wanted to start. Yeah, and make a YouTube channel documenting my 4 to 5 months. My biggest tip to you if you are starting a YouTube channel is don't anticipate much in terms of people watching your stuff. Make videos because you like to make videos. Don't make videos because you want to get views. Because if you're doing it for that reason, it might be not very satisfying. You know, do it because you want to capture these memories and have something to look back on. That's what I started as. And then just be yourself. Don't even really think about who's watching. Just, you know, if you're filming something or editing something, you know, do it for you and your personal memories, and then maybe other people will enjoy it as well. Would you agree, Tal?
100%. Have fun with it, especially if it's your first time heading out. Don't take it too seriously. I've seen firsthand, you know, like we were traveling with a guy. His name was Brandon, and I showed him, and Steve as well. We showed him sort of how we travel, and we do this for work now. So we travel hardcore. Like when we make videos, we bust it out. Like we put in the work to make as many videos as possible because our lives and our financial income relies on it. But that's not what you should do when you first start. You need to really develop a love and a passion for it if you want to do it. So I would say enjoy yourself, have fun, find out if it's for you, take your time, just have a good time with it. Try to make the most of it. Like that's what you really should do, is just try to make the most of it.
Oh, we got another super chat. I think we need another song.
Chico!
Chico
I said that Chico Zurdo. I said that Chico Zurdo.
Da 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 da.
Gracias, muchacho. Gracias, muchacho. That's all you get. You
That was
want
a good
more?
one.
You gotta put some more money down, boy. You want 20 more seconds? It's gonna cost you $15.
That's awesome. And he apologized for the all caps. So thanks for apologizing for yelling at us. But I am serious. I would love to get a group trip organized. So if anyone here is actually interested, seriously, message me privately, either on Instagram or send me an email. You can find my email. My email is stevenyalo@gmail.com. But I am very interested in organizing a group trip. Yeah. With that being said, where should we go? That would be
Hawaii?
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 I don't know.
Yeah, me and Steve chatted about this when we were in Sri Lanka together. It could be really, really cool to do. I've always wanted to do it. I've always been like, I don't know where to go, how to plan it. There's a lot of logistics that go into it, but it could be something incredible to plan.
Incredible. If you guys want to meet in Asia one day, hit me up, Steve. We have talked on Instagram, if you remember. Adrian Geek. Oh, yeah. I do remember that. Ah, very cool. Yeah, so Adi, when do you plan on going to Asia? Did you say that? I would love to get back out to Asia, but obviously as of right now, I don't know. Ooh, Chico said Sri Lanka. Maybe we can organize a tuk-tuk trip around Sri Lanka. That'd be pretty
We
cool.
know Sri Lanka real well, so we could take you guys on a trip.
We could be Sri Lanka tour guides. I'll wear my adventure hat.
I see here, Todd was asking, I hate to use this word again, Steve, but will either of you be traveling to the Seychelles Islands to make a travel Mario? I don't know what a travel Mario is.
Maybe he meant to write guide?
Yeah, maybe a guide or a video.
I don't know what Travel Mario is, but I would love to make a Travel Mario with you. We got a freaking super chat up in here. John Edward Jones. We need to make a song for you. Ooh. Break out that U.
Edward Jones. What's the word? Your not apostrophe. What's the when you take the letters out? Your thing is Jedge. It's like my name is Tolerant, so my name would be T-O.
Oh,
What is that
JEJ.
called?
Your initials?
Your initials. It's Jedge, dude.
We need a Jedge song. Make a Jedge song. I'll dance. You sing.
Hi, Jedge. We love you. Hi, Jedge. I wanna hug you. Hi, Jedge. Jedge. John Edward Jones. Thank you.
Oh my god, I almost fell off that. Whoa.
John Edward Jones also wrote, sí, Juan Eduardo.
Wait, what?
Gracias, Juan Eduardo. He just wrote, sí, Juan Eduardo.
Sí, Juan Eduardo. Juan Eduardo. En español. Typo. Mario should have said video. Oh. Mario should have said video.
Call me Judge, dude.
Jedge. High school friends call me Jedge. Oh, that's so cool. We got you, Jedge.
You're a homie now, dude. You are a Jedge.
Jedge is part of the homie crew. Will
Just
H.
did a high score super chat right there.
Will H just said, yo. What up? What up, Will H?
What up, Will?
So Adi said January 2020 was my plan, but because COVID-19, I don't know yet. Yeah, January 2020 passed a little bit ago, but don't worry, things will clear up and you will be able to travel. Adi, we will get out there. Love the foot wave.
A very active chat here. I love it.
I know, I love everyone talking to us. Sí, habla español.
Sí, habla en español.
Hey, Chico, where are you from? Chico Zundo.
He said Puerto Rico.
Oh, Puerto Rico.
He's a mofongo boy. He likes to eat mofongo.
I want to go to Puerto Rico. Tal, have you been there?
I've been. It's amazing.
Have you
I've
made
been there
videos?
twice.
Have you made videos from there?
I have made some of my earliest YouTube videos. It's a fantastic place. Fantastic country, island. Not country. I mean, technically a country, but not really a country. It's an amazing place.
That's cool. Favorite country to eat? Tal, you just said, come to Miami. I'll make you the best food.
Yeah, I'm happy that I said that in the chat. He might get off of my YouTube account. It's confusing.
It's okay. We need to you need to make her own YouTube account or Google account.
She has one. That's the thing. She has one. She just signed into mine.
Oh, man.
Weird.
Oh, Chico lives in Dallas, Texas, not Puerto Rico.
But he's from Puerto
Um,
Chico. I can show you really cool places in Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico. Puerto Riqueño.
Chico, dude. Go there.
Chugga chugga choo choo. I'm feeling on you. Gonna touch you with my shoe. Oh boy. I didn't eat any breakfast today because I was so friggin' stressed out. I woke up and immediately started trying to figure out how to do this. And I'm glad apparently it's working right now, so that's good. But I didn't even eat
Yeah, it
anything.
stabilized that. We had a little hiccups in the beginning, but we're working now. I'm looking on the live stream chat. It occasionally does like a weird wiggle, like it vibrates. It's really I don't
video,
know what's
right?
going on with it. Yeah, the video.
Yeah, I don't know. We're just a wiggly chat, so we're not keeping anything normal here. We're pretty weird, and so is our video stream. Every time it wiggles, we're just gonna wiggle to make it look like we're supposed to do that. Mofongo. I don't even know what mofongo is. What's mofongo? Can you explain that to me?
Mofongo. It's like Puerto Rico's national dish. It's like plantains mashed up into like a cone, and then they put some sort of protein on top, usually like shrimp or chicken or fish, and it is delicioso.
Really?
It is real good.
That sounds so
It is
good.
real good.
That sounds
Oh,
so.
Puerto Rico is like a completely underrated place. It's like the closest thing we have to Hawaii in the Atlantic Ocean, or I guess in the Caribbean, and it's totally underrated. Like, I mean, people go, but and there's parts of the island there that you can go to that have zero tourists. Like, people don't even know about. Just completely devoid of tourism, and it's amazing. Like tropical jungles. You can climb the tallest mountain there. It's called El Yunque. It's like a super easy hike. Get to the tallest point of the island. See everything from the top. It's amazing.
When were you there? What year?
2015.
Guess what?
Hey, Gus the Bus, boy.
Gus the bus is giving us some cash money. $5. We can get some mofongo with that. New
Hey,
day?
Gus.
New song?
Hey, Gus. Hey, Gus. What's that song? Na 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 na.
Hey,
Hey, Gus.
Gus. Na, na,
Gus.
na, na,
Love
na,
you,
na,
Gus.
na.
Gus,
Gus,
can we
how?
go have some more together, man? Gus
Seriously.
took.
So, let's explain that real quick. Let's tell a little Gus story. So, you and I were trapped. Oh, no. Tal's frozen. Oh, you're awake? Okay, good.
I'm frozen.
No, you're good. So, my internet connection is unstable. I just got a notification. That's great.
Watching you dance on the chair and it's so funny.
But yeah, so Gus, Tal and I, the first time we ever met. Well, Tal and I met because we met online. I remember we were both in the Philippines in like 2018, in the beginning of the year. And we were both in the Philippines at the same time. We were both making YouTube videos, so we both knew about each other. And I think the NYC couple first put us in touch because they both knew us.
In touch.
And then they touched us and we touched, except we didn't actually touch physically, just digitally. Like we were Facebook messaging or whatever. And we never actually got the chance we never actually got the chance to meet up in the Philippines, but then like 6 months later I went to Colombia, and then when I was leaving Colombia, I posted on my Instagram story that I was flying to Orlando. And then you saw that, and then you reached out to me and said, "Hey man, you're going to Florida. I'm in Miami, and I plan on driving all the way to Los Angeles. Do you want to come with me?" And I was like, "Heck yeah, I do." So we ended up doing a road trip together across the United States. And our goal was to make it to California and Los Angeles. And when we were driving, we were leaving Arizona. Remember that situation where we didn't have a place to stay? We were planning on potentially just like...
You mean every day of that trip? we did that trip. We tried to do that trip on such a budget where we just continued to like couch surf. We were couch surfing pretty much everywhere.
Woo!
So
Adi just sent another 20 knocks. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven door. Ooh. Knock it up. Knock it up. Knock it up. Knock it up. Knock it up.
Knocking down Adi's door.
Knock, knock, knock it on Adi's door.
You're the best, Adi.
Dude, Adi, I'm gonna hug your face off.
Adi, you gotta get a hug.
I'm gonna hug you so hard.
Watch out, you gotta get a hug.
But like we were saying, the going to Gus's house. So remember we were leaving, it was like really late at night. We were planning on arriving in San Diego because I think we were doing a long drive. I'm pretty sure that's when we left Monument Valley. We drove all the way from Monument Valley.
Oh yeah, that was a crazy drive.
That was a long drive. It was like a 16
like a 15-hour drive or something?
Yeah, it was like 16-hour drive from Monument Valley all the way to San Diego. And we were like, let's just go for it. We left in the morning, and when we got there, it was like 1 a.m. And we didn't even have a place to stay, so I think we posted on our Instagram stories, like if anyone's in San Diego and is willing to host us. And that's when Gus reached out and said, "Hey, if you want to come stay at my place." I think you and I were planning on camping somewhere, but where the hell were we gonna camp? We had a tent, so we were like, "Oh, we'll just."
We had a tent in the back of the car, and so we did that. I think like 1 or 2 of the nights on the trip. So we were like, "Oh, worst case scenario, we just camp somewhere." It's such a budget trip. I loved it. That's a fun thing about traveling in such a tight budget. You get put in such funny situations, and you meet angels like Gus who takes you out to eat the best tacos you've ever had.
Yeah, we arrived at his. First of all, he invited us over his place in such short notice. We were driving there, and it was like midnight. He's like, "Yeah, you guys come over." And we're like, All right, amazing. Thank you so much. We arrived, and he immediately brought us out to go eat some delicious tacos with his son. And we just had a great time. And it was like 1 a.m. I felt so bad, but he was so nice. And he let us sleep in his home. He gave us a comfortable beds to sleep in. Ah,
Hours.
showers. We didn't have to
Awesome.
camp out we don't even know where we would have camped. There's nowhere. Where we?
And like the night prior too, we had spent in the desert, like with the Navajo tribe people that we were traveling with, or we were doing the collaboration with. So I don't even think we showered that night before, and then the night before that, probably
Oh
questionable.
my
whether
God!
we
Yeah.
showered.
So before that, even before we spent one night in Monument Valley, which was really cool. But we were camping, no access to a shower, toilet, or whatever. And then the day before that, we camped out near Horseshoe Bend. Remember that?
Horseshoe Bend. Oh damn, we didn't shower for like 3 days. Oh wow.
And where were we before that? Before that, I think
We didn't know each other. Got some burgers in Austin, Texas. We're like, all right, let's not shower for a week. Let's go to the.
and then we arrived at Gus's house and just we're like smelly, dirty travel boys. We're like, hey.
Can we shower here, dude? Yeah, cool. That's like, yeah, come shower.
Oh, what a nice guy. What a nice man. His whole
That's
family
the
was
best.
so nice. Oh, wow.
We've had some good times, me and Steve.
I'm trying to think of some other. So that was like our crazy trip across America. Then we went to Tijuana. That was crazy.
Good time.
I'm trying to think.
Ramona's here. Hey, Ramona.
Ramona's here? Ramona!
Ramona.
Ramona! That's Ramona from that we were with in Poland with?
Poland. Ramona Ornella Nocera. The Italian girl in Poland.
She's an Italian girl living in Poland.
In Poland.
People are talking to each other in the chat. This is cool.
They forgot about us.
Yeah, they're not even asking us questions. They're just asking each other questions now.
You guys realize you're in a live stream with YouTubers. You're gonna hurt our ego if you don't address us in the live stream. Right?
Tal, did you go to Toro Verde, the monster zip line?
I have not. I was in San Juan and I was in Fajardo, and then I went to an island called Vieques Island, which is just mind blowing. It's like heaven on earth. And I had a ukulele that I bought, and I had a horse. There's like a group of wild horses that run around that island, and they're just assholes. They're the worst horses ever. They like came up to us. We were just like sleeping on the beach or something at like 4 a.m., 5 a.m. This little group of horses came up to us and like bullied us out of the place we were standing at. And I left my ukulele there, and as like a sort of like a power move to say like F you to me, the horse just takes one hoof and just steps right on the ukulele, like to show me who's boss. It was a real sort of like man versus nature moment where you feel like the animal looking at you like, I know exactly what's happening right now. Get out of my space. Like, I don't want you here.
That's crazy. That's so cray-cray. That's so cray-cray. Oh, man. That's a cray-cray thing. We got some people talking
I
up.
can't believe you're from Orlando. I didn't know you were from Orlando, Steve.
I lived in Orlando. I went to university here, to UCF. But I'm not originally from here. I'm from New York, Long Island, to be exact. Suffolk County, Long Island. I don't know why I said it like that.
Suffolk County.
Suffolk County, Long Island. But yeah, I think I've definitely...
Suffolk County.
I think I've had Puerto Rican food out here. I just don't know what I'm getting. The Global Snowbirds are up in this chat. Hey guys, how goes? You two have any plans to do another trip together once this is all over? No plans as of right now, but...
Oh, okay.
What'd you say?
I answered heck yeah, and then...
You said yeah? Well, Tal's gonna travel.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, I don't know about that.
Well, Tal's gonna travel with me, but I don't know if I'm gonna travel with Tal.
I'll just be following him around, and he'll be like, all right, you can keep up. You can come
Well, I mean, we don't have any plans. Like, yeah, we would like to travel together, but there's no plans in place. We don't know where.
Every plan ever for everyone, especially in the travel verse right now, has been tossed out the window. So, like, I mean, we always have plans. Me and Steve are always, since day one when we met, we've always been talking about big ideas and big plans that we want to do, and I'm sure that some of them will come to fruition in the future. But anything specific or like concrete right now is pretty much off the table until we sort of stabilize things again. Global Swimmers are laughing. That's the best way to answer this question.
Are you gonna?
Yeah.
You
No.
guys have any plans? Yeah. No.
I got plans. You got no plan.
I got no plan. Oh,
No plan.
no plan. No plan. No plan.
What about you, Steve? You want to tell the people a little bit about what you've been up to in Orlando?
Yeah, I mean, I've pretty much just been doing this, like sitting right in this position with my laptop open and either editing past videos or figuring out what to make like this. Like, I'm trying to adapt to the current situation. So, doing live streams. I'm planning on doing this with more creators. So, Tal, you're the test run. And obviously, it hasn't been going 100% so far, so I have to figure out how to make this better.
You got the kinks with me.
Yeah. But I think it's going all right. Aside from the few weird glitches we're experiencing, I think it's, you can hear us. It's doing, oh, Jamuel! We just got a $50 jam up in this jam. Oh, Jamuel! Please.
You got $60.
For the challenge to travel in video Nicaragua and or this, one more time, say the name of that island.
Seychelles.
Seychelles. Seashells.
Seychelles or Seychelles?
The Seashell Island.
Seychelles by the Seychelles shore.
Oh man, we're going We're going to Seychelles.
Chat. What an awesome chat,
dude.
Jimbo.
We're getting jammed.
Dude.
Oh, dude.
I love it. You guys
Also, Jedge said no. Please, no chair dancing. Are you sure you don't want to chair dance? Because I'll chair dance for you. I chair dance for myself.
For your health and safety, he doesn't want you to fall.
I do it because I love to chair dance, not because.
He doesn't want you to fall off the Judge.
For the challenge to travel in video Nicaragua, I would love to travel to Nicaragua. I really want to travel around Central America. Maybe we could do that trip together, Tal. Like from.
I would love to.
Start at Gus's house in San Diego, and then just go south.
I would love that. I wanted to travel more Central America for a long time, like Panama, Nicaragua, Honduras. And I heard those countries are becoming more and more safe every year. Like El Salvador has had a really, really bad reputation, but I heard it's starting to clear up a little bit. And these are places that have not had infrastructure for tourists at all. We would be some of the first, like, sort of stepping in.
Boom. First of all, I just want to say thank you to everyone, especially Todd, $50. That's a very generous donation. So I really appreciate that. It's going to go straight to the travel fund. Many tacos for us. Also,
You guys are
Jedge.
amazing. This has been one of the most engaging chats I've ever seen in a live stream, besides the super chats, which are awesome. But you guys are so engaged. It really feels like we're all sort of sitting in a room together right now, just having a conversation.
This is
really
cool. And Jimbo67, thank you so much. It's cool that you inserted a little pair saying, hey, you there. I like that. But he asked a question. Oh, Chico had a question. What other YouTube traveler do you want to do a collaboration with? That's a good question. I'm not sure yet. But Jimbo asked a question. Steve, what happened to your friend who traveled with you in Thailand and Vietnam? Misha! That's Misha, boy! That's my good buddy, old pal, Misha. He lives here in Orlando. He has a girlfriend. He's living his life. He's doing his thing. And yeah, he hasn't been traveling so much, but he's living a happy and healthy life. So I'm very, very happy for him. But yeah, he's here in Orlando. Unfortunately, with this whole lockdown situation, I haven't been able to see him. I've only seen him once since I've been here. But hopefully things will calm down a little soon so I can go hang out with Misha again. Because I love that man. He's such a freaking nice, kind-hearted soul. I would put him in a little napkin and roll him up and ship him off to Antarctica if I could.
It seems like the opposite of what you want to do for a nice guy. Roll him in a napkin and ship him to Antarctica.
Nah.
Kind of waiting to see where that would go. I was like, oh, maybe to his heart, maybe to like a nice person's house. Not
Well,
Antarctica.
actually, he really wants to go to Antarctica, so I think that would be a pretty nice thing to do.
Okay. Yes.
So, redeem myself. John said not on the chair. Use as a prop, kind of like pole dance. Okay, we can pole dance around the chair.
I can pole dance my ukulele if you want.
$50 insane, Mr. Bicycle. Fook, $50 insane. Mr. Bicycle just popped up in here. That's been a long time viewer of my channel.
Channel names are amazing. Mr. Bicycle and Jimbo67, dude. And Jedge. It's such amazing names.
Jedge. Also, the Global Snowbirds. I would love to come up to the Pacific Northwest. Tal, have you traveled around the Pacific Northwest?
No, not yet. I've never been up there.
So when I was in Colombia, the first time I ever went to Colombia, like 2 years ago, I met this guy Chris, who told me that he'd purchased a van, a Volkswagen van to travel and live out of, and he was gonna fix it up and go travel in it, and he invited me to come. So I said, heck yeah. So that's actually what I did after our road trip together with Tal. So you drove me to LA, and then I flew up to Seattle to meet him, and we traveled for a few weeks around the Pacific Northwest in his van, and that was incredible. But it was like late October, early November, so it was getting kind of cold, and I really, really want to go back up there when the weather gets a little bit more summery. So in the summertime, I would love to get up there, like soon. My name's Jim and I'm 6'7". You are a big boy. Jimbo 6'7". It's not 67, it's 6'7".
I love how Jimbo67 explained that.
Thanks for clarifying that. Because I was curious. I thought you were 67 years old. No, I didn't think that. Wow, I'm still just fascinated by the fact that Todd 1D rhymes with Rod sent $50. That's a jam load of jams. I can buy so many peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Ooh, the Global Snowbirds. We know some incredible camping spots. See, that's what I want to do. I want to go to the Pacific Northwest and camp and go hiking and explore the outdoors.
I want to go to that place called Olympic National Park. It looks freaking amazing.
Yeah.
It's the only rainforest in the United States. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, yeah.
Only rainforest in North America? Or only rainforest in the U.S.? I think it's the only one in the U.S. It's a rainforest, like a real rainforest.
There's giraffes there. Little tiny ones, this big.
The jungle.
Little tiny mini giraffes.
A giraffe is.
If I could have one animal that's not real, it would be a mini giraffe. Like I'm not like a big fan of like genetically modifying things, but if we could somehow like genetically modify a giraffe to be the size of like a chihuahua, imagine that. A little tiny baby giraffe.
I bet they could make that.
Like or a giraffe like this big, like like a giraffe that was maybe like this height. That'd be really cool.
Little guy.
Little small giraffe. Take him. Imagine traveling with that thing like a dog. Take the giraffe out on travel adventures. That'd be cool.
Get a lot of chicks with a little giraffe. That would be a chick magnet.
A lot of chickens.
A lot of chickens.
A lot of chickens. You got an ATV canoe kayak would be sick time. Dude, let's go up to hang out with the Global Snowbirds. I got an ATV.
I'm down.
You had me at ATV. A canoe and a kayak. What if we do it all at the same time?
If we put a kayak inside of a canoe, strap that onto an ATV, and put that onto a sick time?
That sounds good. What if you put the kayak on the back of the ATV, so then, or like the canoe on the back of the ATV, so you could have more people sitting on the ATV and just tie it in? And yeah, it sounds terrible. Don't do that. What was your favorite hostel in Colombia, Steve? And have either of you thought about traveling through Africa? We actually have thought about traveling through Africa. I'll come back to that. But I think my favorite hostel in Colombia was Messiah Hostel in San Augustine. I shared a video about that where there was this hostel on the edge of a cliff. It was right on the edge of a valley. So, I mean, the location is what makes that. Tal, your mom just said, "Tal, go to sleep." But the location of that hostel is what made.
Uninvited, she just wrote the word Seychelles in Hebrew. I don't know why. Just wrote one Seychelles.
Like the island?
Yeah, but just one. Not Seychelles. One Seychelles.
Oh man. But yeah, like I was saying, Messiah Hostel in San Augustine, location is incredible. And I remember I went hiking down one side of the valley and then hiked up the other side, and then walked through like this street, but it was just the countryside of Colombia, and it was so beautiful. And there was some people out like in their gardens and on their farms. It was basically like farmland. And this one guy was selling ice cream. He invited us in. We bought some ice cream for him, and he spoke no English, and we barely spoke Spanish, but we had like the most hilarious conversation ever. And then we ended up zip lining back across to the other side. That was cool. That's where my favorite hostel was. But about Africa, I feel like I want to travel around Africa. It's gonna happen, but I believe it requires a bit more planning than I'm used to. Like with how Tal and I have been traveling recently, we didn't really plan. We planned enough, but not like we keep it open for spontaneous, flexible adventures. But I feel like with Africa, you probably need to have more of a route and plan stuff out. Do you agree, Tal, or
It's
do
just
you
such a
think?
massive continent. Like the countries there are so big, and there's so much. There's such a lack of infrastructure and so much distance in between places that it really is logistically. It's not like backpacking Europe like we've done, or hopping on a cheap flight across Asia, because that doesn't exist in Africa yet. Like the concept of just like flying from Bangkok to Manila, or from Bali to Hanoi, Vietnam, that doesn't exist yet in Africa. You can't just like hop on a flight from Cape Town to Addis Ababa in Ethiopia or Kenya, whatever, for like $50 or $20. It's a lot more logistically challenging. That being said, the rewards to Africa are incredible. So it's something you need to plan. You need to, like, I've done a bit of Africa, but it wasn't an organized tour. Like, none of it was done by myself. Granted, it was also my first trip. Now I feel way more comfortable doing more, but it definitely is something. Like, one of the original plans for me and Steve's trip that we did across Europe and Sri Lanka, we were going to take a route that would have taken us through Africa and then back up to Asia. Uh, but I mean, that fell through because it was a bit too crazy.
Yeah, we,
But yeah, we definitely want to go. I want to climb Kilimanjaro, and Steve has definitely shown a lot of interest in potentially coming along for that as well. So I mean, it's on the roadmap. It's something we're for sure gonna do.
I actually did a live stream the other day, and someone asked me if I would climb Kilimanjaro, and I mentioned I want to do it with you. I think that would be. I know that's a big goal of yours.
Yeah, definitely I want to make that happen.
Luis said, "Yeah, it definitely makes sense about Africa. I've heard so many cool things about countries like Madagascar, Mozambique, and the Ivory Coast. And then I'm sure your presence would help the tourism." Yeah, that's another thing. I wonder. Cool, what's the Chico? I can be your human translator. um,
My name has been butchered in this live stream. I've never seen my name spelled so many different ways.
I love it. Um, yeah, man, the tourism industry after now's the time to get in touch with like tourism boards and different organizations to start planning some trips because in a few months from now when things are more okay to travel, they're gonna they're gonna be looking to do some things like plan some programs where they bring people like us who can make videos and start spreading the good word. I don't even know.
Good word. It's for the good word of travel blogging. I
Spread the
love
good
it.
word of travel.
Yeah, this is our time to shine. This is our time to help people out and to use our communities, use people like you guys to, you know, promote tourism to places around the world. Trying to get you
Oh.
guys to go out there.
Oh, what's up, Chris? I didn't realize that was you from El Rio. That's another amazing hostel. Probably, actually, that's probably my favorite hostel. I changed my answer. El Rio. I forgot about that. El Rio is my favorite hostel. Everything I said before, scratch that. We're going El Rio.
Somebody else pops into the live stream. Hey, I stayed with you at this hostel. Steve's like, hold on, actually, that's my favorite hostel.
I think he was the one who asked the question. Yeah, that was. I think he was asking that question to spark the conversation about El Rio. But yeah, dude, El Rio Hostel is such a cool place. It's right. It's near the coast. It's on the coast of Colombia, near Tayrona National Park, and it's like in the middle of the jungle. To get there, you need to take a bus to the next town, but you need to tell the bus driver I'm going to El Rio because he just pulls over on the side of the road and lets you off. And there's like motorbike drivers that will drive you. You have to drive like a few kilometers into the jungle just to get to this hostel. It's just in the middle of the jungle. It's so cool. And there's no Wi-Fi there, which makes it. It's actually nice because it makes people actually connect and talk to each other. So you go there and you're just remote, out there, good times. Yeah, that was my
Yeah, I
favorite.
remember seeing videos in your Instagram stories from there, and it looked awesome. Like I've never been to Colombia yet, but Tayrona National Park has been ingrained in my brain because of Steve. Like I know it's a place I want to go to.
And then dude, El Rio Hostel is right near Tayrona National Park. So you go to Tayrona and then you go to El Rio or vice versa.
I know where I'm staying.
But yeah, but there's I mean, it's called El Rio because El Rio in English is the river, and they have tubing, so you go tubing down the river, and then they have this amazing viewpoint, like a morning sunrise hike that we went on. Oh, so beautiful. You see the ocean and also the Sierra Nevada mountains at the same time. It's crazy. Crazy. Favorite country for nightlife and entertainment?
I think we both have the same answer for that one, right?
For nightlife and entertainment. Favorite country? Are you gonna say
Oh, I guess city.
city? Is it
I read that as city.
Barcelona?
Budapest?
Budapest. Oh, Budapest for sure. Yeah, that was a
Yes.
party. Yeah,
Budapest was crazy.
that was a crazy trip. That was wild.
Yeah.
That trip around Europe was insane.
Yeah. We partied hard this last summer. It was every night almost. It was like nonstop.
Hostel 1. That was a fun time. If anyone is interested in traveling around Europe and you're into the hostel scene and you like to party, Hostel 1 is the place to be. They organize
And
activities.
we have a discount code. I think that's still probably
Oh yeah, it's
running
probably still
now.
active. Yalo Clatt, right?
Yalo Clatt, yeah.
Yeah, but they know how to run a hostel. That's yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about a country specifically for nightlife. I mean, I can't think of many countries that I've been to that I've partied so hard where I could say around the whole country that was a great time. I think Spain overall, we partied throughout Spain, so I could say it was pretty good. But Budapest was just insane. It was just it took us to a club there that had like 7 floors. You just get lost in the club. Like we had so much fun in that one night. That was like a travel experience just inside of a building. Like one building, you're like jumping from room to room to room. Like it was the craziest experience.
I don't know. I would maybe say like either Colombia. People like to party in Colombia for sure. Also Thailand. People party hard in Thailand.
Mm.
Budapest. Yeah, Steve Parr. Hey, what's up, man? Considering how much you guys have been traveling, this lockdown has got to be driving you nuts. How do you feel about that? Do you think? How are you feeling? Like your mental capacity right now?
It's definitely driving me nuts. It definitely is.
What?
I'm losing my mind a bit because I want to be out on the road. I feel like it's frustrating because I didn't want to be stuck in one place this whole couple last month. Like the last few months were supposed to be my time to sort of explore Asia and finish off some stuff that I wanted to do the last time I was in Asia. and then head out of this part of the world and start exploring either Africa or South America. And it's just destroyed my plan. So it is driving me a bit crazy. But I once again, like I always remind myself how blessed I am to be where I am. It could be way worse. And at the end of the day, it's just a little inconvenience, so it's not that bad. Like overall, it's really not the worst situation for me.
Yeah, to be honest, for me, I was actually planning on using the month of April to stop and work anyway. So kind of convenient that I'm forced to stop anyway. And now, so obviously I would love to travel, but it's it's cool because there's no sense of FOMO, as people may say, like fear of missing out. Like since I was probably gonna spend this month bunkering down and just living my laptop life somewhere anyway, it's nice that I'm not I'm not feeling like I'm missing out on anything. So that's good. But I feel like this is probably gonna run a little longer than I would like. Cello, Steve, question. It's been a few years since your journey started. Are you happy with the financial stability that comes with what you do? What's your end goal with all of your traveling and creation? That's a good question. Um, are you happy with financial stability? There is no financial stability, to be honest. It's never stable. It's up and down. Some months it's great. Like right now, it's nothing. I'm earning nothing. So everyone who sent a super chat, thank you so much. That's pretty much 100% of my revenue this month. But it's my end goal for this. It's never been for me. It's never been about the revenue. For me, it's been about the experience. Like also my personal life experience. I believe this has been shaping me into a better person, just a nicer overall, more open-minded human, which I think is good. But also in terms of the professional experience I'm gaining from this, like making videos and all of the experience I have with my camera, I think is super super powerful and very useful. That if I were to not continue making YouTube videos, I would be able to use this experience to thrive in a similar industry, but not doing necessarily the same thing. So my end, I don't necessarily have an end goal right now. It's just to get as much experience as possible. What about you, Tal? How would you answer that question?
Yeah, I mean, it's like Steve said, it's crazy. It's a crazy time right now because it just shows you how volatile everything is. Like right now, all revenue on the website has gone pretty much to zero. So it's like you could be. It's like pretty much. I mean, a lot of people are dealing with the same situation, like getting laid off from work all around the world. So um, we're not exceptions here, but it tends to happen very frequently with this. It's like sometimes a video gets demonetized, or seasonally, you just make less money because there isn't much advertising. So it's financial stability isn't a thing that exists doing this. But at the end of the day, like when we get to see comments from people telling us that they have followed on our footsteps I know Steve, I remember seeing this firsthand. Like we were in Budapest of all places, and a viewer stopped Steve and was like, "Hey, well, no, it wasn't in Budapest. It was in Sevilla. A Scottish guy stopped Steve and was like, "Hey, I'm going to Colombia. I'm going to follow your tips. I've been watching your videos in Colombia." And then we ended up partying with that guy and becoming friends with him. But it's stuff like that when we see the impact that we have on people with our videos, when we're able to inform them or entertain them, it makes it all worth it. It makes that the end goal. Sort of like you see the impact that you're actually having on people, and that it really it puts it all together for you. So I think my end goal is to just inspire more people, try to make a positive change in the world, and maybe eventually transition out of this into something a little more serious, something a little more stable. Not sure yet.
That's nice. That's a nice answer. Oh,
That's nice.
that's nice. Say hi to Brazilian people. Hi to Brazilian people.
Hi, Brazilian people. Versteeste, versteeste, versteis.
That's Portuguese.
I don't know how different Brazilian Portuguese is from normal Portuguese.
Pastéis de Belém.
Pastéis de Cuscais de Festóis. Dude, Portugal was a trip. That was a funny time.
It was so weird for me, for both of us to go from Spain to Portugal in terms of the language difference, because our level of Spanish is very small, but we're kind of getting used to how people speak, even with the Spanish accent they have with the and just how just simple greetings. You know, obviously we want to greet people in their local language, so we would try to speak Spanish as much as possible. And then we went to Portugal, and everything's changed because we kept trying to speak to people in Spanish, but they don't speak Spanish. So it's just such a weird dynamic because they're speaking this language that still sounds kind of like Spanish, but it's different, and it messed with my mind so much.
And we're so close. Like, we were so close to Spain at all times. And I remember there were a few times where we gave up and just spoke Spanish in some places. We were just like, "Cuando, do you understand what I'm saying?" And a lot of them did understand, which is good. Yeah, Portugal
funny.
was a trip. That was a funny time.
It's Ann Sharp. Hi, we're doing well. Tal, you still in the Philippines? Yes, he is.
Yes, yes, ma'am. What's wrong with my mom? Guys,
Israel,
my mom is broken.
Israel Tel Aviv. That's so funny.
All caps.
Oh man. Oh man. All right, we're heading up on the hour and a half mark. We just passed hour. Ah, my muchos. What's up, guys? We hung out with them in
Hey, Muchos.
NYC. Or no,
Crazy.
I did. You weren't there.
Rolling up on 2 hours.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I'm getting a little hungry because I haven't eaten anything all day. So we might end this soon to go get some food. But Tal, anything else you wanna touch upon? Anything else you wanna say to the people of the world?
Just want to say to the people of the world, thank you. Thank you to everybody who's super chatted tonight. You're supporting Mr. Steve, and it's a good time right now. I keep telling people, like, this is the time right now to support creators that you believe in and that you love, because it really is a crazy time right now, and there's a lot of uncertainty. So just stay healthy, everybody. Keep on being amazing. Thank you for spending some time with us tonight. I genuinely, like, doing things like this gives me energy. This was so nice. Like, we had such a fantastic chat. You guys have been so interactive tonight. You've been so, well, tonight for me is nighttime, for a lot of people it's morning right now, but you guys have been so fantastic. So just thanks for spending time with us, guys.
Yeah, and thanks for staying up so late. I know it's after midnight for Utah, so appreciate you making time to talk with me and talk with everyone else. And everyone who sent a super chat, thank you again very much. It's very generous of you. And everyone who's here right now, really appreciate your support. Obviously, you know, just being here, we appreciate that. You don't need to send money. That's something super extra. But I really appreciate everyone's unconditional support. A lot of positive people in here. And I look forward to making some videos in the future, hopefully traveling again soon. But by the way, I will be doing more live streams. I don't have a set schedule yet, but I have some people in place, other creators who may travel, may not travel, but still other creators in quarantine. I figured now could be a good time to interview, just have some chats like this, pretty casual discussions, and just see what people are up to. Maybe introduce you guys to some new creators who you may not be familiar with around different topics, not just travel creators. But that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed. Tal, thank you so much. The traveling Clatt. Go. Oh, another. So concerned you won't eat well. Maybe a chair dance. I think we gotta leave off with a Jedge chair dance.
Chair dance. Okay.
Sing me a song. Or
he has a classic.
Play me a song. I'll chair dance for you.
My mama called. She ate a TV. Why my mama called?
By the way, if anyone's seen the music video that I created, I used that song.
Go watch it.
Tal and I had an original remix. In Sri Lanka, we were driving our tuk-tuk around, and we just made My Mama Ate a TV. So we will now perform this for you live.
Why my mama go and eat a TV? Why my mama go and eat a TV? Why she have to go and eat a TV? She ate a TV.
My mama called, she ate a TV. Why she go and eat my freaking TV? Now I cannot watch anything on my TV. Cause my mama, she just came and she just ate my TV.
TV. Why my mama go and eat my TV? Why my mama go and eat my TV? She ate my TV.
Ooh, this one's for you, Jed.
You parse as mother of God. Yeah, that's what happens when you stick me and Steve in a tuk-tuk for 10 days nonstop.
You remember we were singing that when we came back to Colombo. That's when we made it up, I think. And we were